not expect a president of a country to say, WIKE blast Buhari again. Welcome to the news and thank you for tuning in. Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has identified bad governance as a major cause of insecurity in Nigeria, noting that all must be done to reverse the trend. Speaking in Abuja on Wednesday during a lecture, he delivered at the National Institute for Security Studies, NISS. Wike recalled that President Muhammadu Buhari once openly declared that those who voted for him will get more benefit from his government than those who did not. He noted that such statements are not expected from a country's leader, as it gives some people a certain feeling of marginalization and makes them lose interest. The governor added that for true development to take place, every stakeholder must be carried along and the government must be responsible. Wike said, "Now take, for example, with all due respect, when Mr. President said 90-something% of whatever will go only to those who voted for him. That alone will create crisis. That is not part of good governance. I do not expect the president of a country to say, I will only remember those who voted for me. That is not democracy." The Rivers State Governor spoke on the topic governance, security, and sustainable development in Africa, nexus challenges and prospects. Rivers State as a metaphor. The lecture was for the participants of the Executive Intelligence Management course, EIMC 14, who were concluding their study at the NISS. Wike argued that the administration of President Buhari has known to give one excuse or the other for areas in which it has failed, stating that when the government is not responsible, no meaningful development can take place. He added that the federal government and all stakeholders must find a way to bring all aggrieved persons to the table and discuss their grievances towards finding workable solutions. He submitted that only when the government is seen as working for all people and not just for a particular session can there be talks about peace, security, and sustainable development. What we have today cannot be said to be a responsive government that will provide all this. What we are hearing is excuse one, excuse two. It is terrible. So if you do not have a responsive governance, you will not have environmental sustainability because it requires good governance. The sense of social justice, equity is fundamental to achieving peace, security, and sustainable development, which only good governance can achieve. You cannot have this if you do not have good governance, and you cannot talk about sustainable development when you do not have good governance. It is practically impossible. First, among other structural and infrastructural variables, nothing can be more relevant to the progress of society than the practice of good governance, led by visionary, effective, and transformational leadership as essential precondition for effective democracy, the rule of law, sustainable development, and enhancing the living condition of ordinary people. Unfortunately, poor governance and bad leadership model continue to characterize Africa's political, economic, security, and social landscapes. I am sorry, people forget when people say zoning is unconstitutional, but you know what is called equity. Equity brings peace. Let everybody be a part of it. He further noted, but the moment you begin to think that this is your own exclusivity, that nobody else, then it becomes a crisis. When you begin to see some people, to deny them certain things, this will lead to insecurity. And with insecurity, you cannot achieve sustainable development. Take, for example, when the Igbos are crying to say, look, in appointment, you do not recognize us. What is wrong in listening to them? What is wrong in sitting back and saying, look, we are all one. We want this country to be together in order for us to achieve sustainable development. Because if you do not include them, some of them will begin to believe that they are not part of a system. Wike misunderstood our president, Baba Integrity, who always fulfills his words. He promised change and he brought change from peace to war and then to violence. Second term, he promised next level. Today, people are being kidnapped from Sokoto to Calabar and from Maiduguri to Lagos. He promised those who gave him the bulk vote, juicy appointment, and he gave them the negative reward in his pocket. Bandits, Boko Haram. He gave each region according to the votes he got to the zones. He got the largest vote from the northeast. he gave them Boko Haram. The Northwest, he gave them the Northwest gave him a large vote, he gave them bandits. The Middle Belt gave him an average vote, he gave them equal size of a problem. The Southwest, South, and South is giving little votes, and they get little problem. Therefore, WIKE should be grateful to God. This is cracking me up, though it is not funny. I do not know why. WIKE is saying the truth. You want this country to be won, and you're not including them in your cabinet. How do you get good governance? Those who voted for you, 60% of them are illiterate. They voted based on their understanding. When 20 illiterates plus 4 elites equal 24 votes, and you were saying you want something, something is wrong somewhere. For a leader to be pronounced that I will make this country ungovernable for you if I do not win is to say when a monkey and a dog fight, who will sustain more injury, then we have something else. Well, yes, I am going to say yes, the truth has been spilled, yeah. Governor Nyesom Wike has spoken most of the Nigerians' mind. But I'm going to ask, why now? Why now? Is it not rather too early? Forgive my sarcasm. Is it not rather too early? Isn't it rather early? Isn't it rather early that such statement should be made? Where has it been all this while that the people or citizens of Nigeria? Well, we are not going to look into that. We are going to be looking into the message. Even though these politicians are not to be trusted, each one of them are not to be trusted, because we do not know what will happen. Even FFK, Femi Fani Kayode, he made a lot of statements, negative statements against the ruling government. And what do we see today? What do we see today? He has gone to join them and dined with them. So, though we are not going to be looking at the person who passed the message, but we are going to be looking at the message itself. All these things he said is true, most especially if you want wonderful governance, if you want to rule, then good governance is like the first thing you have to do. It is like the first thing that should be on your list. You have to have good governance so you can ensure equity, fairness, and tranquility. Because if any of the regions start feeling demarginalized, then there's a problem. That means your governance is not good. With this, we say thank you for tuning in and joining us today, and enjoy the rest of your day.